Hello everyone, I'm continuing my look at the recent Marvel Legends Iron Man retro carded wave, and today I'm picking up with the second of 3 Iron Men in this wave, and this is of course the Iron Man Model 9 or Mark 9 or however it be want to count these various suits of armour from across the years. I tend to affectionately think of this one as Disco Iron Man because of the fantastic flares or bell bottoms he's got on the bottom of his feet there. We have actually had this figure before, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's start off by taking a look at this packaging, and if you've seen my other videos on this wave so far, you'll know that I'm a sucker for this retro packaging because I love the animated series. I grew up in the 90s and I loved this toy line, so this definitely puts me in my happy place, and I think it's fantastic. I love the artwork, I love the colours, and yeah, I love having it in oversized format to hang on my wall. Admittedly, the reverse is less impressive. It is given over to a diagram of the figure as opposed to a photo of the figure. It's kind of shown the accessories and how you can swap them out, but it's not that complicated really, so I'm not sure why we've dedicated so much space to this, and it would have been nice to see the other figures in the wave as we did way back when. Okay, so when the figure was first announced, I was a little bit hesitant because I already had a pretty decent version of this figure that I was kind of happy with, and it was from Hasbro from, well, it was a good while ago now. But nevertheless, it was a pretty cool figure and I was really happy to have it. It actually had really nice gold metallic paint applied, which was, really quite effective. But I have to say, I actually really do like this new version. It is a different mold, it is a significant upgrade, and of course it has very different colour applications because the plastic here is much brighter, it's much more comic book accurate, and yeah, the proportions look to be just a little bit more accurate as well. I really like the plastic they've used because it is light reflective, meaning that you can see a reflection in it, which is kind of cool, despite being in the more brighter colour scheme of the comic books. I think they've done a really good job. I do like that central circle piece. I've been told it's not an arc reactor. I can't remember what it is. Apologies. But nevertheless, it's nice to see that painted blue this time around instead of gold, which is great. And, as I said, the proportions look to be pretty much spot on here. So I can't really complain about anything. There isn't much in the way of paint apps in terms of washes or anything like that to draw out the detail. Again, I'm willing to overlook that for this version of Iron Man because he is much more colourful, and I think it actually works well in the context of this figure. And I have to be honest, this is far and away not my favourite Iron Man costume, look or design from across the years. I was never a big fan of it in the comic books. Those bell bottoms always seem to be just a little bit of its time. Let's say that. But I have to say, in figure format, it is really cool. I think it works really quite well. It definitely makes him look very different to the other Iron Men in the line, of which we have quite a few. So I'm actually really pleased with this. I think this design works so well as an action figure, where it maybe doesn't work necessarily as well in the comic books, in my opinion. So articulation wise, he does have a ball joint at the top of the neck there, allowing the head to spin all the way around and sort of wobble left and right. There's not a lot of movement there. He does have a hinge though, which will allow the head to look all the way down and all the way up, which is fantastic. He's got ball joints in the shoulders, and those shoulder pads will actually move. They're hinged as well to allow the arm to lift all the way up, which is fantastic. There is the complementary bicep swivel, and there is a double joint at the elbow, but realistically, you're only going to get use out of one of these, so you can only hinge to about 90 degrees. Of course, there is a pin swivel at the wrist as well. There's a straight swivel at the waist, allowing the figure to rotate all the way around, and there is the standard ab crunch in the middle of the abdomen there, allowing the figure to bend forwards and backwards a really healthy distance. There's ball joints in the hips, so the legs will kick to the sides. They'll kick forwards and backwards, of course, as well. And there is a swivel at the top of the thigh, as well as at the top of the boot cut there, or the bell bottom there, which is great. So the legs will also bend to about 45 degrees because there's a double joint at the knee there, and we have kind of an ankle pivot at the ankle there. The foot will kind of wobble. It won't really hinge forwards or backwards or properly pivot from side to side. He does come with some fun accessories, although we have seen them all before. He has an additional pair of open palm hands, 2 repulsor blasts, and 2 sort of smoke energy effects as well. So there's nothing really groundbreaking here. We've seen this before, but it works really well. You can put the repulsor blast effects into the palm of those open hands, which look great. I don't see any reason to change this or shake this up. Of course, you can do the same for the energy effects as well to make it look like he's, blowing smoke off his palm or whatever. Again, kind of cool, it works really well, I can't argue with it. All in all, I'm happy to give this figure 4 stars because it's really fun. It's bright, it's colourful, the articulation works, and he's got some decent accessories. What could have put this over the top, you might be asking? Well, maybe an alternate unhelmeted Tony Stark head. Again, we've had that many times before, so it wouldn't have hurt to include it here in case anyone doesn't have that accessory at this point. Or maybe a nice display stand that would help simulate flight. That's something we don't tend to get with Marvel Legends figures anymore, and it would be really cool to have something like that, and especially for flying characters like this one, and it would be a little bit different, something new to offer Iron Man collectors. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do consider giving the video a like. That kind of thing really does help the channel out and it allows me to keep making more content. And if you're interested in seeing more content, remember to hit subscribe as there'll be plenty more videos coming soon.